Hi, we're back. We are trying to finish up the diagonal right routine, okay? And what we want to do is we want to get to the part where we were working, and this is we have one side of it working. Uh, we had sort of two for loops. We're running one for loop to run through the rows on one side, and then we have another for loop to run through columns, and that's what we got to build through here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so what we've done is we've done this part through here, but we have to make something that's going to run through all of these as well. Okay, and we're running a column check like this. Okay, um, and we're going to try to work with that. Okay, so to get this going, um, what we're going to do is we're going to look at what we did before. Okay. And I think what we're going to do again is we're going to start this, okay, with the current row and a current column. Okay, so we're going to do that. Start that in there. That makes sense. Okay. Actually, and current row should be 0. I think we should sort of flip-flop this. Okay. So I think current call should be column, and current row should be 0. I think that makes sense. Let's look at our diagram here. Okay. So current column, yeah, it's always going to start on this row and then go down, and the current columns are going to be whatever column you're on, okay? And that's right, okay. And then what we did was we began we actually looked to see, let me see, we began like sort of a loop to run through the parts of the column, and this is going to have to do the same thing with rows. We go like this and go, and let's look at it. Let's look at the test here and what we kind of need to have happen. All right, that's our loop, and we're gonna have to look at this, and we're gonna say while basically current row is less than board with squares. I think that would have to be. So you have to say current row and current column. I guess that would be sort of the analog here. Let's look at this quick carefully though. Okay, so we're gonna say well current row is less than board with squares minus the call. I think that's what we're doing. Okay. So while current row is less than board with squares minus the row, that's right, because this will make this go up. Okay, which is what we want. So the first time it's going to be 0 or 1, it's going to be here. Next time it's going to be 2. Next time it's going to be 3. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, and current row is sort of always going to start at 0. That makes sense. Okay. And then while current column is less than board with squares, that makes sense. It goes to here. Okay, so that is good. Okay, and then we have, let me see, we're going to need something to end this loop. Okay, so we got the second loop. We got a big long for loop going. Okay, this is what's happening here. That all seems good. Okay, now the next thing we do is we go and look to see if we can find a start square. Okay, so we do this. Okay, and I'm not sure if we can use diagonal right 1 or we need 2 diagonals. That would be a bummer. But we'll see. Let's see. Okay, so we go group start, and then we find diagonal right. Okay, and we have this one thing. We have to check this. Okay. But basically, basically we should send it like column. And I'm not sure if that's going to screw things up. That's sort of the problem here. But let's take a look at that. Okay. So let's just see if that works. Hi, I did some checking, and I'm not sure if we needed this extra variable. We kind of wrote it in class, and I did this actually, and I haven't had any trouble running it. We used to have this up here saying row, so we could kind of shorten up the speed up the loop or whatever. But I think what happens is that column or row will kind of handle it. So I think if you actually send that 0, it would work, and maybe we can just get rid of it later. Okay, but so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this as current row and current column, and I'm going to send it 0. Okay, and I'm going to see we can find a group start. Okay, with the group start, what I want to do then is I want to look to see if group start does not equal null. So if there's actually something to start with, we're going to go for it. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna do our work. And the thing we did was we set up a let me see, we set up a group. Let's see. First thing we did here was we set up an opponent group, right? Okay. So we can kind of keep this too. Okay. It's the same diagonal right group. So what happened here? Okay. So like this, right? Okay. And we're going to set up a new opponent group, which is what we did before. It's still a diagonal right group. It's just like the upper one. Okay. You know, I mean, if you wanted to, you could say right upper group or something like that. I don't know. I don't think it really matters. Okay. And we do that, and we set up an opponent group. And then we do some like clearinghouse stuff. What we do is we check the first edge. Let's see. Okay, we set up a start row. We do this, and this stuff we can I think we can use down here too. So we go here, paste that in. Oof. Okay, so we have a start row. Okay, from the group start. We're gonna check the edge. And that's still the same problem. See that? I think that's okay. So we'll let that be there, otherwise it's there. Okay, so I think it's the same. I think it's the same problem. Should work. Okay. We're gonna let that happen. Okay. And then we're gonna see if this is the same kind of code for see if the moves in the group. So you just have to check that. So that's all good. Okay. So far so good. Let's see what else we did up here. Okay. So this gets us to here. Okay. Then what we do is we're going to look for additional group members. So we're going to do that. Okay. So I'm going to keep that going and put this here. Okay. Okay. And then the big while loop which checks boards, like which checks for additional. What you've done is you found a start. So now we have to find the additional stones that are in this group. Okay. And we're going to do that here. Okay. Okay, I think what we have to do here is go, let me see. Okay, so start column should be less than board with squares. I think the row part's sort of out from this. Okay. And start row has to be less than board with squares minus column, I think, because we're doing that, whatever column we're on. And then and we're gonna say not done. Okay. Okay. Okay, I think this is the else part of our if then. We're just going to deal with, and then basically what we're going to do is we're going to look and see. I think this code in here is actually the same. This stuff here, okay. So I'm gonna copy this and look. So we're gonna look at game board, start row, start column, and see if it's the stone color. If it is, we're gonna add it to the group, okay. And we check to see if it's the last move, which is like the exact same code. That's fine. Okay, and then we keep going start row, start column, okay. If it's not one of these things, then done equals true, okay. So then it gets us out of it, and that's the loop. Okay, so now we've checked, we've looked for additional group members, we saw if the thing was part of the group, we looked at the same edge, okay, and now let's see what we got to do now. Okay, then we have to sort of just check the other edge, and that's the same problem. Okay, as like this would have the same issues as the other one. So let's see if start row is bigger than board with squares. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, so we're gonna let that happen. Okay, and I think that's kind of it. Let's see. Okay, this is the infinite loop problem here. Okay, and then we add code to the loop, the add the group to the list. Okay, and that's going to be the same. Let's look at this. Current row is going to equal start column, current column, current row. Okay, and that will help us get with current row and current column. Okay, so that seems fine. Okay. Okay, and the thing that gets us out of the main loop here is board with squares. I think you have to say current column equals board with squares, and that'll get us out of the loop. Okay, so we'll do this. There you go. Okay, and I think that's what we need to do to get this to be diagonal here. The thing I forgot to do was when you get a new group start, you got to add the group start to the opponent group. Okay, so let's see where that happens up here. So you do this, yeah. This didn't happen in the second part of this loop. So I need to add this line down here. Okay, so you do a group start. You do this. You make a new opponent group, and then you add that. Okay, and then what we should do is we should look at this and test it. Okay, we've got a little bit of time, so I just want to make sure that show you that it works. Okay, this is old stuff. Okay, but it's good. Old stuff, but good stuff. So he just finds 3 and 2. Here, let's go on the other side of this and see what happens. Oh, there you go. There's the 2. There's the 3. Here's the 2. Okay, let's put some up here. Okay, so it seems to be finding things fine. There's 3. Let's make these guys all 4. There's 4. There's 4. Let me see. 4, 4, 3. 2, and a 3. Okay.